Your proportions and everything is always amazing, top notch, highest quality clothes, everything. I'm inspired by the whole style.
Hello and welcome to the Tracy Show. It's Tracy with an I, not with a Y, and I am here with another video. Yes, I am. On this channel, we talk about everything from fashion to reaction. Y'all know I love me some history. So today we are going to talk about Willie James Howard. Did y'all know before Emmett Till, there was Willie James Howard? They just try to take it from the history books. Trump said, he don't want none of that to be remembered, and they're going to erase it because they say why we keep on talking about it. Well, we talk about it because it is our history. So his story is our story. Hello, we're gonna get into Willie James Howard. And Trump, if you're listening, you need to get into it too, because you are not too bright. Willie James Howard was born July 13th, 1928, in Live Oak, Suwannee County, Florida. He was drowned for have given Christmas cards to all his co-workers at the Van Priest dime store, including Cynthia Gulf, a white girl, followed by a letter to her on New Year's Day. The letter read, "Dear friend, just a few lines to let you hear from me. I am well and hope you are the same. This is what I said on that Christmas card from WJH with love. I hope you will understand what I mean. That is what I said. Now, please don't get angry with me because you can never tell what may get in somebody. I did not put it in there myself. God did. I can't help what he does. I know you don't think much of our kind of people, but we don't hate you all. We want to be you all's friends, but you won't let us. Please don't let anybody see this. I hope I haven't made you mad. If I did, tell me about it, and I will forget about it. I wish this was a northern state. I guess you call me fresh. Write and tell me what you think. Tell me what you think of me, good or bad. Sincerely yours, from YKW for Cynthia Gulf. I love your name. I love your voice. For a SH. Sweetheart, you are my choice." Woo, Willie. It is unknown whether Cynthia had given the letter to her father or he found it on his own, but Alex P. Phil Goff, the Live Oak postmaster and a former state legislator, discovered the letter and flew into a rage. Goff, along with S.B. McCullers and Reg H. Scott, went to Willie's house and took the youth from his mother at GUN Point. They picked up Willie's father, James Howard, at the Bond Howell Lumber Company where he worked, then drove to the Suwannee River east of Suwannee Springs. They bound Willie by his hands and feet and forced the youth to choose between getting pow-powed and jumping into the Suwannee River. After his father said he could do nothing to save him, Willie jumped into the river and drowned. Goff, McCullers, and Scott signed an affidavit which stated that they only wanted James Howard to whip his son rather than be whipped by his father. Willie jumped into the river. James Howard also signed the affidavit, but after selling his home and moving to Orlando, he recanted. Harry T. Moore of the NAACP interviewed the parents. After a county grand jury failed to indict Moore, was able to get a federal investigation started, but no conviction followed. Goff, McCullers, and Scott died without having to face any murder charges. Cynthia Goff was stated to have been distraught over the unalivement of Howard, not intending for that to happen. Let me tell you a little bit about Willie James. Willie James Howard was only 15-year-old African American. In 1944 is where all this happened, the L word, all that, the L word, just outside of Live Oak. Howard lived with his parents on the town's eastern edge near the railroad tracks. Lula and James Howard called their stocky, round-faced son Giddy Boy because of his cheerful nature. He loved to whistle and sing. He was also quite smart, unlike other local black boys his age. Confined to menial, hard labor jobs, Willie James found good work stocking shelves and sweeping floors at the Van Priest dime store. During the 1943 holiday season, he gave his co-workers, most of them white, Christmas cards. One of them, a girl about his age named Cynthia Goff, was upset to get a card from a black boy. On New Year's Day, Willie James allegedly sent Cynthia her a letter of apology, which is the letter that I read earlier on in the video. A possible transcript of the letter, spelling and punctuation below consistent with the original, reveals a mixture of contrition and camouflage, with the writer abbreviating words that signal flirtation or reveal identity, such as WJH for Willie James Howard, L for love, YKW for you know who, and SH for sweetheart. However, Howard was accused of edging near one of segregation's most highly policed boundaries, which was the line between black males and white females, and therefore Jim Crow would teach him a lesson. There's a bit of information that I left out early on as Howard was being taken to a wooded area. After they tied his feet and his hands, They ordered the father to lead his sobbing son down an embankment to a high bluff overlooking the river. At that point, when reading that, I was thinking, can you imagine having to lead your child to something you couldn't control that would take your child's life? We complain about so many different things, whether big or small. But we did not live, or I did not live, in that Jim Crow era. And I thank God, because they probably would have unalived me. You had to be really, really, really strong, because the African American culture went through hell and back. And we still are. We still are. It's just modern day right now. Also, as Willie James chose to jump in the river, Howard stood by and watched, helpless to intervene. Afterwards, the men told James Howard to keep silent, or DIE. They drove him back to work. Listen, they drove this man back to work. Unbelievable. They drove him back to work where police officers were waiting to take him to the courthouse. There is an affidavit. An affidavit was prepared for Howard to sign, according to Golf McCullers and Scott's version of events, that Willie James unalived himself. And I quote, "When we arrived at the river, I tied the boy's feet and hands to keep him from running so that his father could whip him. But the boy making the statement he would DIE before he would take punishment from his father or anyone else, made his way to the river where he jumped in and unalived himself. His father stood by and viewed the son without attempting to prevent this from happening. Surrounded by police, town officials, and the men who unalived his only child in front of him, James Howard wrote his name under the line, "This I acknowledge to be true," and agreed, as he was told to do, that an investigation was unnecessary. Now let me tell you real quick how fast they wanted to get this story out of history, or how they wanted to make like this did not even happen. Listen, Listen. While you're listening, please subscribe and like the video. Later that day, the same day, Sheriff Tom Henry ordered the local black undertaker, Ansel Brown, to retrieve Willie James's body from the Sewanee and prepare it for burial. The funeral took place the following day with no autopsy, inquest, or headstone for Willie James's grave. Mammy Perry, Lula Howard's sister, told historian Marvin Dunn that Lula and James were given 24 hours to leave town. They arrived at her Orlando home in a taxi with all their belongings and never went back to Live Oak again. From the perspective of the town's white power structure, the incident was over. As the saying goes, water under the bridge. This is part 1 of Willie James's story, because the NAACP did get involved, and the Live Oaks African American community got involved as well to seek justice for Willie Howard. I probably will upload part 2 tomorrow. I may go live tomorrow with the ending of it. We'll see. Please like the video. Please share the video. This is education. And turn on your post notifications. Also, subscribe to The Tracy Show. We talk about everything over here, from fashion to reaction. I thank you all for listening and watching.